Hi, thank you to all of the community members over at Open Media One channel on Telegram. I really appreciate you all. Now, today's video, I've tried to do this a few times, guys, and I have to keep stopping, I'm fumbling it, so I'm just going to go with it, and I'm just going to go with the flow and see where it goes. The title of it is How Do They Think? And I'm going to go through a few examples today of how a narcissistic person potentially would think, a few examples from TV or cinema that we can go for as well. Also at the end there'll be a twist that I'm presenting out to people and an example just after that twist. So it might be a bit longer this vid, but I'll be as quick as I can, and promise at the end we're going to end on an absolute positive note. We really will. So that's why this is going under the positive reports, because we need to be aware of things, we're helping each other, and right at the end there is an absolutely positive note. So just very quickly, the reason why this has taken so many takes, and I keep having to stop and start, is because this one's a bit tough for me, because I'm opening myself up just that little bit more. I'm very honest and upfront on my channel. I've always said to people, I've not always done good, I've done bad, and now I'm at the stage in my life where I want to help others from my experience, which is why I do the vids I do. Okay, so that's out of the way. So I'm just going to do my best to get this video flowing. Now, how do they think? A big mistake I think that people are making is they're assuming that the leaders and the mainstream are thinking in the same way that they do. Now, those people who are not privy to narcissistic behaviour, or have not experienced it, or don't know about it, it's a total different mindset. It really is. And I'm going to talk about that in the examples today on this vid, and then just let me know what your comments are, send your DMs and everything. I really would appreciate that. So why is this a touchy subject for me? Well, I've been narcissistic in life. I've been around narcissistic behaviour, I've been around violent narcissistic people behaviour, so on and so forth, and there's various different forms of it throughout quite a lot of my life, actually. And as I said before, in Positive Report 12, which was banned, I was a weakling. I was a weakling in my area, but I had that brain. So I don't know whether that even brought on even more narcissistic behaviour, because, there's a lot of narcissistic behaviour I've seen throughout my life in sales companies, things like that, where it isn't even about violence or aggression or anything like that. It's literally a means to the end for these people, and no matter what, they are focused on it. And I've been like that myself in life, so that's why this one's a bit difficult to get out. So apologies for the super long introduction. Okay, now I'm going to tell you a quick story, and then I'll get straight into it. And this happened 10 years ago to me, and this was a massive changing point for me. So I'm sat there with my wife at the time, she's still my wife now, and my friend in his apartment abroad, and we're watching a documentary on TV. Yeah, this is when I used to watch TV, and it was about CEOs and narcissistic people. And we started watching it, and literally one example after the other, everything they're saying, I'm sitting there thinking, that sounds like me, that sounds like me. And it got to the point where it was like the 10th one, and I'm looking at my wife, I'm looking at my friend, and I can tell, that we're all sitting there thinking, oh my God, that's like me. And then out of nowhere, I think it must have been number 11, there was one that come out that just made me give such a sigh of relief. And they said empathy, and the next one was love. These narcissistic people, these CEOs, these people that they were studying at the time, they don't have empathy and they don't have love. And at that point I was like, oh, thank God, thank the universe, because I knew that I did. But I swear it was the strangest experience ever, because up until that point it was ticking every box for myself, and it was a real eye-opener where I thought, I've got to change, because I don't want to be that kind of person. And so I've worked a long time on that and many other things. Now, the reason I'm telling you all that is because it gives me, I believe, a bit of an insight into highlighting narcissistic behaviour, because I've been involved in it, because I've been around it. So that's why you've got a super long intro to this. This is not just me spouting off. I'm actually going to be making some points here that I want people to think about. If especially if you're new to the Truther community, I understand it's a refresher course for a lot of us in this, but we do need to think about how these leaders are playing things, how their mind is going around, because it certainly isn't like most of humanity. So bringing it down a level here, the first example is a film called Unbreakable. Now, in this movie, sorry if this spoils it, there's a character called Bruce Willis who has superhuman strength, and he doesn't realise it until throughout the movie. He can touch people and see what they've been up to, so on and so forth. Then on the opposite side, you've got Samuel L. Jackson, who is Mr. Glass or Dr. Glass, and he's the opposite. He breaks his bones and all that kind of thing. So, cut a long story short, or a long movie short, what happens at the end is you realise that Samuel L. Jackson, Mr. Glass, has been causing accidents all across the world to try and find his opposite, to try and find the person who is unbreakable, hence the movie title. And the reason I'm bringing that up is because even at the end, in the scene of that, he did not think what he was doing was wrong. He really didn't. Pure narcissistic, pure means to an end. He had what he wanted to do and it didn't matter what happened. And that's a big insight into what narcissistic people are like. They don't even see people, humans, things like that. It's just, there's the goal and we're going ahead with it, okay? So that's the first example. So hopefully, I know it's a comic book and a movie, but it really does give you an insight into how some narcissistic minds work in the aim of, or the pursuit of obtaining that goal. Nothing else matters at all. Next, we're going to talk about Bill Burr. Now, Bill Burr put out a comment quite recently. It was going on TikTok. It was a clip actually from a show he was on, and he was talking about how it doesn't make sense, the theories that, you know, they're going to depopulate people, and because 2/3 of the world have had the jab or something like that. And he said, and why would you depopulate the people who, you know, are saying yes and agreeing with you? Well, a little bit of a theory again out there, but excuse me, that's not looking at it from a narcissistic point of view. It could be the opposite. It could be they're wiping out the people that would just say yes. Because I know that sounds out there. That's a very narcissistic view. They would crop the weaker ones in their minds, the ones that just gave up willy-nilly to get to the stronger ones and breed them. And, you know, I'm not saying that that's true. I'm just saying that is how a narcissist would think. They really would. They would not even give it a second thought. Now, that brings me to my third example here. So this is not long left now. We've gone on a bit longer than normal, but not long left at all. So thank you for sticking with it to here. Now, I watched a TV program years ago called The Event, and I've spoken to people about that on Telegram and in chats, and there was a particular scene in that which displayed narcissism again completely, but it had such a twist to it. And it was, to cut a long story short about it, it was about a race of people who were here mixing with the humans. Some were good, some were bad, you didn't know who was who. And cut to a scene where you've got a leader or a globalist, someone right at the top, above of politics, above all that, and you've seen him throughout the whole series. He's been calling all the moves, making people do bad moves, just a typical, banker, someone right at the top of the chain. Cut to the scene where the hero of the TV program has to rescue a girl from the house. Now, this old guy, globalist kind of guy, has set fire to the house and tied the girl up in the chair. The hero does what you think the hero is going to do, breaks into the house, rescues the girl, brings her outside, and the globalist guy is there. It's almost like he gets caught on purpose. And the hero guy grabs him and says, "That's it. You're going to get done for all the crimes you've done. We know what you've done. We know all the manipulation you've done," and so on and so forth. And the guy hands him a scroll and he puts it in his hand. And he says, "You've proven your worth," or words to that effect. The guy's looking at him going, "What do you mean?" He says, "We'd hope that you'd stand up and be brave and do whatever it is that you were going to do there where you saved the girl. We hope that you'd stand up to that and do that." And he says, "What are you talking about?" He says, save all that for when we take you into the authorities." And then this globalist guy shoots himself in the head. He said, "I thought you'd say that." And he shoots himself in the head, and you're like that, stunned. What's going on here? And then it's either straight after that, or in the next episode, you open up the scroll and it tells you all about what's happened. That globalist guy was actually part of a watchers group or guardians who were guarding humanity, and he did all these things to see which humans were doing bad things and which ones are doing, and it just blows your mind. But that also shows what a narcissistic type of person will do. They will 100% do anything to get to the end goal that they want to achieve. Now, you know, having said all that, this is where we're going to get positive. Somebody, one of my good friends, used to say to me, if you know that the rules to the game is crooked, use it to your advantage. And when I was more narcissistic, and you know, that was perfect in the sales team, in the sales rooms, things like that, it was a perfect mentality, because that's how it was, very much dog eat dog. But now I'm at this stage in my life, I've changed that around a little bit. And you see, if you know what your enemy is capable of, you can just focus on winning. You can just focus on beating them. Now, we know what the enemy is capable of. They're capable of everything. I mean, we've had weapons of mass destruction, lies which led to wars. We've had cheating, scamming, lying, phone hacking scandals. We've had all sorts of stuff. Fake war on drugs, fake war on terror. It's been ridiculous. We know what they're capable of. So now we can all focus on winning. And trust me when I'm saying it, we really are winning. Because they're telling us that a third of the world has not had the shot, and he's saying no. Could be more, could be, but it's at least a third of the world. And how many people do you know who have followed all the rules, followed everything, and is now saying no? So that third of the world is growing every single day. So please keep sharing your facts, keep sharing your info, keep doing all the good you're doing for humanity. And remember, we know what they're capable of. So now we just focus on winning. We focus on the new ways, the systems, how to beat them, how to change it, and just get on with our own system. And I really hope that new people to the truth community can understand a bit more about how a narcissistic mind works. And I do apologise if I was a bit emotional than that at the beginning. You know, it's one of them. I just want this to all work out for everybody. I really, really do. But thank you all for listening to my waffle, and I hope you enjoyed the video. And thank you for liking, subscribing, sharing, and really do send your comments in and your messages. And thank you again to all the community members on Telegram. Really appreciate you all.